today.
Sister, don't wait for your anniversary day.
Celebrate yourself, oh.
Being alive in Nigeria alone deserve weekly payment. As they are not paying you, brother, celebrate yourself. Are you still looking for a reason, brother, to celebrate your life? Or you celebrate your young age?
Wahala no dey finish, oga.
Celebrate your old age, yo.
Malukanu wabo fumbio.
Celebrate the fast food, oh baby. Waking up is a risk. Celebrate your life today. No one does it for you. Brother, enjoy yourself today. Nobody can do that one for you. I say celebrate yourself today. Or nobody can love you more than you. Nobody can help you more than you. Nobody can sell you more than you. When you are killing yourself, brother, nobody.
Us day to hand unto our generation, grant this our request, help us to do the nation.
¿Qué será una allá?
The Imperial, the Imperial, the Imperial, my president, members of the executive committee, the Commanders Council, composed of the commanders, high-ranking commanders, the ambassadors, the chief priests, distinguished members of the great Philanthropic, Imperial Philanthropic family, our guests, the media, ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen, we don't have ladies here, apologies. Today is marked the day we are going to have our AGM. Mr. President.
Let's officially hand this gathering over to God Almighty. Let's be standing for opening prayers. Can you give the mic over to Bible Chancellor to lead us in opening prayer?
Everlasting God, you are the Almighty. You have made it possible for us to assemble here today, the 30th day of October 2025, the year of our Lord, in what is our 6th AGM. We bring every supplication and in every humility crave your presence before and behind and around us, so that our deliberations will be fruitful, our meeting will be seamless, bringing us all together in safety and in good health. Even for those among us who are not here, members of our family who are not here, if they are sick, we present them before you. If they were simply unable to be here, we present them before you. Our prayer is that at the end of the day, we will have had a seamless meeting. At your guidance, all this we pray in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Thank you, our Lord.
Amen. Yes, I need more. Thank you for that one. Yes, I just want to know everything across.
Pleasure and an honor to stand before you. Once again, I warmly welcome you to the AGM of our great family, especially during these challenging social and economic times. It goes without saying, we all know what we are faced with today. Although we face these difficulties, it also presents opportunities for the hardworking and intelligent to prosper. Hard times will confront us, but yet the opportunities that go with it can be collateral as well. One way to maximize our situation is by supporting each other as a family. We must connect more deeply within ourselves. In other words, network among ourselves. Promote ourselves more. Support each other more. Believe in ourselves more. Inspire ourselves more, and hold ourselves more accountable equally by doing the right thing always. I have always emphasized that feedback is essential to good leadership. You are therefore encouraged to share your thoughts through constructive criticism and to offer information that can help improve our performance always. In other words, we should help ourselves accountable and the leadership equally accountable by supporting them and pointing out whatever we feel we should point out constructively equally. I appreciate the leadership which has provided visionary guidance. We have carved out a niche for ourselves through meaningful programs and impactful initiatives aimed at helping the less. All these good things we have done would not have been possible without your generosity and love. More than just assisting those in need, you are building an enlightened and healthy community that benefits the future generations and fulfills the love Almighty God has for us by prospering us collectively and individually and making it possible to be here in good health. You are transforming our communities and effectively addressing youth disillusionment. So, you have a bragging right to count yourself proudly for what God has done and continues to do through each and every one of you. Our ongoing progress depends on strengthening our shared values and being innovative as a family. That is the only way we can stay ahead of the pack. That is the only way we will continue to lead the way as shining examples of people, of the industry and innovation. Is the only way to stay ahead of the motley of families and clubs and associations that are mimicking the Imperial Philanthropic family. We are not rivals, but it is important to stay ahead of the pack because we are special. Even as we celebrate our current achievements, this AGM provides an opportunity for reflection and peer review to ensure we stay on a steady path of sustainability. If we are not able to sustain what we have started, I am not sure history will be kind to us. We will sustain and surpass. That is my prayer. It's also a moment to renew our commitment to our shared goals and vision with the aim of positively impacting ourselves and our communities at large. God bless you for your sacrifices, and may you be rewarded many times over by His grace. I wish you fruitful.
Give the time to call to order. My sincere apologies. Len Seok, High Chief Bat Imperial, Ezani Obama of Adasiani. Our able and indefatigable President, High Chief Dr. Sam Darlington Wabonike, Ababalak Namo Nojoto. Ike Manibo, Ugobuswe, Nokia. My VPs, First VP, Chief Collins Okoye, Mwabonamwa Research. Because of time, you pardon me. I want to also recognize the distinguished high-ranking commanders, honorable members, and our extraordinary dignitaries and guests. I wouldn't fail to, since the chairman of the commanders is not here to recognize his vice, Chief Itakodo. If I know him, I recognize your presence and the recognize presence of all others. All protocols duly observed. I feel honored to stand before this esteemed plenary to welcome one and all to the sixth in God's protection and preservation through the previous AGMs to the present. Because I got you like with all due respect, I will interrupt my speech to recognize our mother, my special mother. During his time I must confess it, there may be none of those days. During his time as the chief judge of the Federal High Court, retired. I said during his time as the chief judge of the Federal High Court, I was offered the position of being a judge.
And guests, casting our minds to the spreadsheet of our accomplishments and course of events in preceding years, one can only be enthused by the immensity of the operational lifespan of 6 years as an organic body. Our humanitarian and philanthropic coverages across the Southeast have so endeared us to our people. Increasingly, hands are stretched towards the Imperial Philanthropic family with unambiguous confidence that many more children of the indigent will access quality education. Maternal mortality will plummet sharply. Bright minds will excel competitively in both national and global spaces. Special skills acquisition will serve, while disturbing drug and substance abuse among our youth demographic will be psychologically rehabilitated through thorough tinkered humanitarian interventions. Therefore, distinguished members, the foregoing statement it is our desire to sustain this initiative as we continue to provide hope and support to our infirmed and underprivileged kids and kin. Third, DIPF internal growth and capacity in our dear country. Consequently, our members have not been insulated from the bashes in the business and investment climate across sundry sectors. Oftentimes, as a leadership, we are troubled by the glut of humanitarian expectations that keep in doubting our request dockets. We are minded that a handful of members who are notable generous givers have had to contend with visible, inclement business and investment outcomes. Accordingly, therefore, through plenary resolution, our members' structure is strengthened through reasonably verified and strategic interventions with a view to providing channels for their unhindered propensity for growth and prosperity. Importantly, it should be noted that our interventions are multidimensional and not necessarily financial. 4. DIPF Acknowledgement Initiative. During the year under review, the Imperial Philanthropic family plenary deliberated on the speed, space, and span of the development tangibly across the Southeast region, which the current crop of regions political leadership was rated as the most hands-on and people-friendly in such critically productive areas as industrial, mechanical, agricultural, tourism, and hospitality, skills acquisition, educational infrastructure, among several others. In line with our desire to regain our past glory as an economic regional hub, investing in business creation should be encouraged by all. May I therefore take the liberty of calling on the region's political leadership to extend beautiful cooperation, collaboration, and synergy to the Imperial Philanthropic family as an organization, and indeed such other persons or bodies that are equally driven by the spirit of faithful. Through the hosting of key events, as we did early in the year, when we moved our extraordinary general meeting each year to sundry areas of strategic interest. Concerning the EGM, it is my pleasure to report that the well-attended brainstorming roundtable sharpened our organizational focus with resounding enablers. Fifth, the proposed DIPF Youth Arise Entrepreneurship Initiative. This is aimed at exposing Southeast youth demographic to modern competitive skills and investment windows of artificial intelligence and information technology. Distinguished members and guests, the theme of our 6th annual general meeting, the Emerging Southeast, reinventing its past glory, ties into our organizational mind construct as verged on deepening those partnerships and relationships with progressive views of endeavor for award and honor during our 6th annual general meeting is a bold statement about our collective conviction that post-independent Southeast shall resume its pride of place and glory nationally, sub-regionally, and continental general meeting of the Imperial Philanthropic family, open to the glory of God. Thank you for your attention. May I conclude this brief remark by enjoining you to justify our confidence and conviction in your membership. Like Oliver Twist, we will steadily demand absolute loyalty and undertake you and assure you of our warm embrace and fraternal love. I will now request that you rise to be formally inaugurated. Thank you. The chairman of the screening committee, can I have you? Let me hand over this microphone to the chairman of the screening committee, who I believe have done a diligent work with the members of the committee to formally call out these members that they presumed to have met the requisite criteria that would make them become bona fide members of this screening body. Please, can you call them, all of them out, call them one after the other, let them come to the podium.
Imperial, one family. Imperial, one family. Imperial, living for humanity.
Please, I'm calling on Chief Jude Emeka Okase. Then Chief Chief Chidozie Daniel Maduka, Chief Edekwechi Joseph Monson, Chief Moses Ukazu, Chief Barrister Dr. Kisiri Kelechukwu Ezekwu, Chief Peter Chukwu Ifeliba, and Chief John Sunday Ezuru.
Please, one house. You must maintain decorum at all times. What do I do? Do you confirm that these men have been duly scrutinized and they meet up with all the requisite criteria befitting of being members of the great Imperial family? Can you respond to that?
Yes, very well. We have done a very good job, independently investigated and reported. So they are qualified. Thank you.
Thank you for that wonderful. You may go back to the seat. Mario Hochasi.
But let's go back.
I have the go-ahead from the screening committee chairman. He has reaffirmed and stated that this man has been found worthy to be inducted into the Imperial Philanthropic family as members. Therefore, we want you to speak to their conscience while I will hand you over the microphone as our chancellor and in consonance with the Secretary General to formally conduct.
You are at the moment Imperial members of the Imperial Philanthropic family designates, not members yet, until you are inducted. I am sure you are here for a reason. You aspire to be here for a reason. If you look around, what is expected of you is to bring growth to the good things you have witnessed, you have experienced, or you have heard about that made you, whatever has excited you to become members of this great family. It's an addition. The screening committee, having done a very good job, are satisfied that if you are not equals, you are even more please say after me. I mention your respective names, please. Do hereby pledge my allegiance to the vision and the Constitution of the Imperial Philanthropic family. So help me God.
Gentlemen, or members of the Imperial Philanthropic family.
Please listen. The Imperial family. The Imperial. I'm not comfortable with this response. What do you want to like them there? What do you want to like them there? Oh, I might have the Imperial. The Imperial. The Imperial. Having duly signed the declaration of allegiance, committing yourselves to the vision and inspiration to create an Imperial Philanthropic Fund by the purpose vested in me.
No, I didn't know what that is.
And we need to have a declaration of loyalty. So, Commander designates, please say after me. My loyalty to the Imperial Philanthropic family and the Commander's Council. I promise to uphold the values and principles of the family and the Commander Council to actively participate in its activities and support its mission. So help me God. Congratulations.
Before I go into the induction proper, I was made to understand that before now, that we have His Royal Majesty, in the building, who happens to be the chairman of the Commander's Council. I do not know why he's not here now, but in the absence of that, I will call on the ranking commander in the person of Abadanzo Kenneth Ifekoli to speak to the conscience of this man. Just 1 or 2 minutes talk so that we can formally induct him. Thank you.
Imperial, already the Chancellor has spoken. But one thing I want to add to it is to you people, to the commanders seated, and to all the members of the family. Commanders Forum is not about money. It's not about how big you are. It's about how much can I sacrifice. It's about your commitment to the family. It's about your passion to the family. So today, know that the mantle of leadership burden has been laid on you. You defend Imperial Philanthropic family with everything. You are an ambassador. You are the eyes of this family. You are the air this family breathes. So it's expected, be the pillars of this family that we sacrifice and we keep sacrificing.
Thank you. Please, can you formally present them with certificates, please? The Imperial, having signed the declaration form and having been spoken to by the Chancellor and having duly completed the basic requirement that is necessitated for accession into this council, I, Dr. Sultanati Mwabnike, do hereby induct you as the President of the Imperial Philanthropic family into the prestigious Commanders Council of this great council. Welcome to our fold. And in order to beautify you more and make you look more handsome than you are already looking, we'll be decorating you with our prestigious black cap.
Certificate should be raised. Certificate should be raised. Certificate should be raised. Certificate.
The rest of the commanders can join us. Why are you avoiding us? Join us. Yeah, you do just well. Thank you.
At page 5 of the program, you will find a citation in honor of Chief Osita Chidoka, OFR. A brief one. Chief Osita Chidoka, OFR, is a distinguished public servant, reformer, and thought leader whose career exemplifies excellence in the public sector transformation. As Corps Marshal and Chief Executive of the Federal Road Safety Corps, he led a far-reaching reform that earned the organization international recognition. The World Bank identified the Federal Road Safety Corps as the best example of a road safety-led agency in Africa and the developing world, a distinction that led to a $10 million World Bank investment to improve Nigeria's road safety infrastructure and strengthen staff capacity. I think this money came after he left office. Otherwise, we would have seen it in action, and indeed. Under his leadership, the Federal Road Safety Corps pioneered innovations that modernized Nigeria's road safety system and introduced one of Africa's most credible and globally recognized driver's license platforms, setting a new benchmark for efficiency and integrity in public service. As Minister of Aviation, his brief but impactful tenure witnessed United States FAA Category 1 recertification of Nigeria's aviation industry. His single-minded focus on safety led to a review of all past accident investigation reports and an extraordinary over 90% implementation of all accident investigation report recommendations, a record in safety and oversight in public policy continuity. Beyond public service or office, he continues to shape national discourse through the Athena Center for Policy and Leadership, a think tank devoted to evidence-based policymaking and institutional strengthening across Africa. His scholarship, eloquence, and data-driven approach have made him one of Nigeria's most respected voices on governance, leadership, and national transformation. Chidoka's focus on youth development inspired the creation of the Mekaria Mentorship Program, an innovative leadership and personal development platform that now engages over 9,000 mentees across Africa and diaspora. A visionary and articulate leader, Osita Chidoka, recently called to the bar, brings to every platform the authority of experience, the clarity of intellect, and the conviction of service. In recognition of the enormous contributions to national and community development in 2009, he was invested with the traditional title of Ike Obosi, the strength of Obosi, and admitted as a member of the Eze Nandi, the highest decision-making body of the Obosi Traditional Council, where he represents his kindred. Little wonder that the last AYG in Obosi was one of a kind, bringing the revered Ooni of Ife and so many others to the southeast and Obosi in particular. Today we recognize Chidoka not only for his distinguished service but for his enduring commitment to the ideals that define transformational leadership, vision, courage, and competence. His review of the audacity to transform comes from a deep understanding of reform and renewal, values he has lived, not just studied. Please join me in welcoming to the podium Chief Osita Chidoka, OFR, Ike Obosi. Please help me welcome all members, my Lord should be seated, my Lord should be seated. Very welcome.
Thank you very much. That was very thoughtful. Thank you, Chancellor. Thank you, President. He spoke about $1 billion. He actually came when I was commercial. And that's why you haven't seen any new tow truck in FRSC in the past 10 years. The last one was the ones I bought. But today, we're going to be discussing the Southeast. And I'm not going to read the lecture. I'm going to upload it to my site so people can download it and read the full lecture. I'm just going to speak to it. And when I read the topic that says reinventing the Southeast, it talks to the fact that there was a glorious period of the Southeast, and we need to go back to that glorious period. I found that a bit difficult to deal with because we always mix up the eastern region and the southeast. So the region we had before the Civil War was the eastern region. And that southeast today is not synonymous with the eastern region. And I'll share it with numbers. The eastern region, before the creation of states, covers approximately 78,000 square kilometers. The southeast of today covers 29,000 square kilometers, which is approximately the size of Kogi State. Kogi State is a few hundred square meters bigger than the southeast. So when we talk about eastern region, we are talking about a very large enclave comparatively to the southeast of today. So the current southeast only has 37% of the size of the eastern region, and none of the revenues of the eastern region. Because let me tell you, the fundamental thing that causes trouble in Nigeria, and I don't care what anybody says, is the fact that in the colonial era, we shared revenue by what you brought to the center. So you got your own share cut of the revenue. But by 1965, something significant happened. The eastern region, which used to be the poorest region of the three, the north made more money from granules, the west made more money from cocoa. We made very little money from palm oil, but we managed to grow the economy. That's the beauty of the eastern regional economy. So from Obudu Cattle Ranch to Port Harcourt to Umuahia to the palm plantations of Emayobara, we ran into the problem of oil discovery. And by 1965, for the very first time in Nigeria, the revenue of the southeast of the eastern region became more than the revenue of the rest of the country. That was the first time
our revenue was not number 3. And it was that revenue that they shared at that time that led, in my view, and I believe anybody can counter me, to the change in the mindset in Nigeria, because a white man predicted that once that revenue reaches $100 million, pounds then, that the Nigerian state will witness serious stress. Because the eastern region will have become a far richer place comparative to the western and the northern region. And like he predicted, by the time we crossed about $50 million, the war came and then the federal government appropriated the revenues of the eastern region. So, when we romanticize the glory of the old East, we must remember that our nostalgia is sometimes a geography that no longer exists. But this is not to dismiss history, it is to ground our imagination in reality. If we are looking for a political geography that looks more like the Southeast today, then we shall be looking at the East Central states, led by Obabiasika. Ajay Obabiasika was the administrator of the Eastern region. And I'll tell you something. 1970, the East Central state was one of the poorest states in Nigeria. The budget of the East Central state was meager. But by 1971, due to the change in revenue allocation, the revenue of the East Central state doubled. When they doubled, Obabiasika did not go celebrating. He didn't go buying new Range Rovers and new wagons. He invested in our public education. That's when you saw the likes of National Grammar School, Lincoln, CIC. He took it over from the churches and invested in our education. Government College Omari, Government College Afibo. He invested in education. The East Central State was so successful in their management of resources that what you today call a Go Hotel, owned by the Shaguris, this is a Go Hotel, is the property of East Central State. The East Central State bought it. And Lagos State government at some point protested that the East Central State cannot have a property like this, waterfront in Lagos. That was when the compensation was paid and it was reclaimed by Lagos State government. And they now built what then became the Go Hotel. So the East Central State was a capable state. Obabiasika had a stellar panel of commissioners. Have you ever heard of the people that were his commissioners? If you look at somebody like Ogo, former Minister of Finance, if you look at the former governor of Ebonyi State, Eleji Amadi, he was one of the youngest commissioners. Flora Wapa, Mrs. Wabuche, SG Goku, what's his name, the man in urban and regional planning, Osito Okeke. He had the finest cadre of Igbo people as commissioners in East Central State. And that led to the East Central State multiplication of its capabilities that made us the best state with the results I'm going to come to shortly. Now, I've also recently, at Abeokuta recently, I made the case that the world's geography, the world's map is a map between alibi and agency. Cultures that provide excuses and cultures that fight to change their destiny. So if you look at the cultures of excuses, you will find that it is full of we cannot because they did not provide, the system failed us. A culture of alibi invites passivity. It blames external forces and never internal. Its dependency syndrome, it keeps looking backwards instead of looking forward. And that to me appears to be what is going on in the Southeast. Whenever we talk about the Southeast, the first thing we say, you know, the civil war, the marginalization, the Nigerian government. Very rarely do we behave like the white man who says, here is a bridge, here is a mountain, we drill a tunnel to get to the other side of the mountain. Here is Switzerland, we cannot farm, we do it on top of the hills. Here is Japan, with water all over the place. We build a runway on the water so that we stop complaining and move to what I call a culture of agency. A culture of agency is a culture that we will because They don't say we cannot because, they say we will because. Here is what we can build. We own our future. It invites initiative. So as a Southeast leader, I call on us to move decisively from alibi to agency. And the purpose of my talk today is that we must move from alibi, from excuses to agency. Now the Southeast is not a failing region by any standards. It is underperforming, but it's not a failing region. We have the highest male literacy rate in Nigeria. Is 94.3. We come second, male literacy. I think they are setting up the, we have 94% behind the South. Our female literacy, we are the highest in Nigeria with female literacy. We have the lowest infant mortality in Nigeria and the lowest maternal mortality in Nigeria. We have the lowest incidence of multidimensional poverty. The rest of the country are poor, multidimensionally. The Southeast stands as a clear leader in wealth. Our diaspora footprint is so solid that when people say the Nigerian diaspora in America, they mean the Igbo diaspora. $19 billion in remittances from diaspora. Majority of it, over 80%, are from Igbo diaspora. So we are not a failing region by any standards. We have challenges. You know, there are challenges. But we are letting the opportunity to sleep. These opportunities we have, great education. We have removed 20% of school time from our children to sit at home. 20%. It's not going to show now. It's going to show in future. Let me tell you, one of the studies I chanced on is some Nigerian medical guy living in London studying the impact of kwashiorkor on people that are between 60 and 75 in Nigeria today. When you hear people in their 60s talking about dropping dead, people think it's happening to them that we can't explain. Some studies linking it to what happened during the war, that the impact is just coming now. So the impact of our students staying at home 20% of the time. Let me tell you what it looks like. There's a 100-meter run, and somebody is standing 20 meters ahead of you. It's unlikely you will catch up with the person. So we should not, our infrastructure, we suffer a great deficit of infrastructure. Our talent is flying. You can't find anybody living in the Southeast like all of you white in this room who earns 500,000 naira a month. Not to talk of 1 million naira a month. You can't find them. Because the moment you graduate with 2-1 and first class, you are heading to Lagos, you are heading to Port Harcourt, you are heading to Abuja, the Golden Triangle. So our talent is flying. Fragmentation, our states function like 5 islands. They don't function like one community. While in the Southwest we have the Dawn Commission, thinking of how the Southwest will have regional integration and growth, including just signing the national anthem into laws in their state. We have 5 islands. Imo State is going left, Anambra is on the left side, Bayelsa is, and Ebonyi is totally out of the dimension, it's moving on its own. So, we have very weak regional integration, but there is a choice before us. That choice is that we can move from alibi to agency. That's my key message. We can move. Now, let me show you something. The Southeast Economic Growth Loop, what I call the loop from Onitsha. If you take off from Onitsha to Owerri to Aba, Aba to Abakaliki, Abakaliki to Enugu, Enugu back to Onitsha is 587 kilometers. Only. It's 587 kilometers. If you are going from Maiduguri to Bama, you haven't reached for 587 kilometers. You haven't reached. But this 587 kilometers is the road that we are telling stories about. Anambra, Imo, Kogi, Benue, economic region. Because we need to take care of their lands. We need them to produce so that we can process. And then we have 2 ports and 2 airports behind us. Only port is the 10th busiest port in Nigeria now, followed by Port Harcourt, and then we have 2 international airports. We can export food. So we need to do agro-processing. We need to do logistics and export trade. It is not by coincidence that we are the only ones doing interstate transport in Nigeria. It's not by coincidence. It's not by coincidence that the North are the people who are owners of trailers and tankers and the drivers. It's not by coincidence. And I'll tell you why. In 1963, the Nigerian Railway went on strike. The North had groundnuts piled up in the North. Groundnuts were spoiling. The railways was on strike. The railways was principally Igbo people, led by the chairman then, Ikejian. So do you know what the Northern government did? They imported trucks to Nigeria and distributed to Northern industrialists to bring their groundnuts to the Lagos port. That's why the North is in trucking. It's not by accident. It's because there was a deliberate policy of the Northern government that they will no longer become subservient to the railways controlled by Igbo people and Southerners. So they developed the trucking business. And that is why the role of Ojukwu Senior and others in transportation builds the interstate transport that has now metamorphosed to the airlines that Indianambra are leading in. So transport and logistics is native to us because Onitsha was a central market, the largest market in the West Africa. So you needed to find transport from Onitsha to every location in Nigeria. That's why there's no around Nigeria football and Nigeria, because that is the trading point in West Africa. So people came from Cameroon, people came from Chad to come to Onitsha to trade. But we have used insecurity to pursue them, but we need to bring them back. So this interstate logistics and export trade is secondary to us. But underlying all of this is security and law. We cannot become global competitors if we cannot produce things that are standardized and certified. Somebody just sent me Hennessy the other day, and it was fake, of course, made in Nigeria. And so I said, I have a problem with our fake in Nigeria. In China, they will build a factory the same way the factory is in Italy. They will bring the equipment, they will maintain the highest level of hygiene and everything, and produce that same thing, but it is a copy of the Italian one. But they will pass all through the certification and standards. So if you drink it, it's healthy, it's okay, but it's not from Italy. Same thing with the bags they make or everything. But in our own, you will see 5 people sit inside one dingy room in Onitsha, and they will use pockets and bring plastic butter. They will be collecting water from it, pouring here, mixing with this, and then bottling it. Because we're not thinking that we can make copies. Copies are allowed in the world. We can make copies. But we need to make it in a way that people buying it say, we are buying a copy, but Nigerians make what you can use. So this one is Hennessy, this one is Hennessy, but it is from Nigeria. So you choose, it's cheaper, but it is good. But the one in Nigeria now, the one in Igbo land is not that the people making it don't even care whether you will survive if you drink it, just because they want to make money. So we need to change that culture to know that we are a global marketplace and that people need to do market with us. So I now want to come to the Imperial, and I'll give you a proposal as the Imperial Philanthropic. I saw on your website that you are about to open 50 million naira for scholarship for people who passed JAM. Wonderful initiative. I will share it on my page, and you will get a lot of applications. And people who did very well. I run a JAM CBT center for the past 10 years, so I have access to people who take JAM, and I see them do very well. So you will get a lot. But I have a proposal. You know, when an organization like the Imperial comes out and shocks all of us with their capacity to think about the other person, because the highest form of civilization in the world is consideration for the other person. That's the highest form of civilization. When you consider the others, when society considers both the weak and the strong. So what you are doing in Imperial is unparalleled in terms of their commitment to education. But I want to share an example. The Jesuit order in the Catholic Church. The Jesuits figured out that education is one of the ways to transform society. So for over 5 centuries, the Jesuits have built schools from Georgetown University in Washington. I hope you know it's a Jesuit school, the Georgetown University, to the Loyola colleges around the world. You see the Jesuit Loyola College, you see the all of them, various sites across the world, all driven by a single conviction that education is the most durable form of philanthropy. So they produce scholars, scientists, presidents, and moral leaders, not through luxury, but through discipline, clarity of purpose, and global curriculum. So the same model of vision-driven is what I want to propose to the Imperial. CIC Enugu have started it, Government College Umuahia have started it, Old Boys taking over. I want to suggest that if it is possible and you have the resources, adopt a secondary school that is a boarding school in the southeast. For one of this, start a pilot scheme. Make it a flagship institution. You can adopt or rebuild. Don't spend so much money on the infrastructure. Spend money on the instruction, the quality of teachers, and the access to education that the students will have. Make admission merit-based. The exam, everybody knows the date for the exam. If you write it, you pass, you go. So that people from diaspora can bring their children. People from Lagos and Abuja can bring their children, because Igbo will be the lingua franca of the school. They will be taught in English, but their communication will be in Igbo. So that the children will walk away from that school as Igbo people who speak English. So I have a vision that I will walk into a school named the Imperial Model Secondary School, and I will see a child from Atlanta and a child from Ogo sitting down in the school learning from the same teacher. I can see a vision of that happening, that my children will come, because I want them to speak English not as a learned language, but as a vehicle for their custom and their tradition, as who they are. That's why if you go to Ireland, when Prince Charles was born, he was sent to school in Wales because he was going to be the Prince of Wales. So he had to learn the language of the Welsh people. You cannot be Igbo. You are Chidera and you can't speak Igbo. Mommy, I said, oh, no, no, that's how can you know my son? Get this, I know that son. I don't know who nature. You know my daughter said, that young man. He said, hey, what if you know? What if you know? Where? So the idea that we will restore back education in the East that saves our language and saves who we are. We are a lost people because of a lost language. It is going to happen. Children in Enugu don't speak Igbo anymore. Children in Onitsha, some of them, their mother say, and this is disaster. And let me tell you why it is disaster. It means that our children will never work in Anambra or in the Igbo land. They will never be local government chairmen. They will never go to State House of Assembly with all that education from Jesuit school, from Harvard, from Yale, from Princeton. They will never come back here. So the people that will continue to manage our society are these people in my village whose schools have no tables and chairs, who are learning still with blackboard. They will be the ones controlling our society. So me and you cannot come back there. It's tragic. So the Imperial Model Secondary School will be the beginning. And I'm not saying what I have not done. On November 10th, I will commission the Mekaria Mentorship, the Mekaria Institute of Technology and Administration in Ugosi. It's in Ugosi. It is a two-year school, post-secondary school. You get an OND, you get a global certification, you can proceed to university or you can proceed to work. And I could make more money building it in Abuja. People will pay more. I went to base for my law program. I was paying 2.5 million. Nobody will pay 2.5 million in Anambra. But I want to do it in Anambra because I want the children in Anambra to be able to compete globally. So I think that if we can do that, if write the 5 governors, whoever gives you one first, you can turn it into a school within 30 minutes to 1 hour from an airport so that parents can bring their children. The school will pay for itself, but you can give scholarships so that those who are from poor homes who do well can attend. That will be the first step in their manpower development strategy, the beginning of a Mekaria generation. the beginning of the Imperial moving from a society of philanthropy to a society of purpose and permanence, because in 100 years to come, the school will stand as an edifice to your thoughts. The people you give scholarship today, the people you give money today to go to school, after they graduate from university, they won't talk about you again. But that permanent structure will remain as a testament to a vision. And what if it works and you people replicate it in the 5 eastern states? What if it works and other rich men decide to do it in their places? Then we will begin the true renaissance of Igbo land. So, my brothers and friends, I want to say that our forebears after the war rebuilt from ashes because they had plenty, but because they had purpose. They had no refineries, no railways, no foreign aid in the east. Only a conviction that we rise together or not at all. That's why People's Club came at that time. That's why so many associations came like you to help us rebuild. Now it is our turn. Our logo is our turn. Let us turn nostalgia into networks, identity into innovation, and faith into verifiable outcomes. Can you make a career? Let's do more and do better than our fathers did. Let us prove that courage and community can build something extraordinary in the southeast of today. Let us honor families by strengthening communities, because this is a community of shared purpose. That's what you have today. I believe that what can change society is family, community, and country. Family is where you are taught the values you have. Community is where your values are tested. So let us transform the Onitsha-Nnewi corridor. The world will not wait for us. The train of history moves swiftly, those who delay are left behind. But if we act with Uche, wisdom, work with Uchu, industry, and work with Ebuchu, reverence, we will not just catch up with history, we will make history. I stand ready to work with the Imperial Philanthropic family to make the school project a living project so that our story will not be written in lamentation but in leadership. So let us rise, not in anger, but in ambition. Let's stop the politics of anger, but politics of ambition. Let us build schools that teach character, roads that connect dreams, and institutions that endure long after we are gone. Let us become the generation that refuse to trade excuses for destiny. Members of the Imperial, let us embrace agency. Let us abandon alibi. Let us invest in youth, deepen excellence, and rebuild the moral architecture of our region. Let us refuse to be spectators of our own story. Let us be its authors, its architects, and its champions, together with Mekaria as our spirit, with family, community, and country as our compass, with Uche, Uchu, and Ebuchu as our enduring values. We can reimagine the Southeast, not defined by what we lost, but celebrated for what we dared to do. Let us do it.
Go collect it.
Reinvented the past glory. Current position. He is the Executive Director of Corporate Services. Pioneer Executive Director of Corporate Services. Southeast Development Commission. At Southeast Development Commission, the corporate leads in strategic administration, stakeholder engagement, and policy executions that drive sustainable transformation across the Southeast region. His visionary leadership continues to strengthen the Commission's mandate for equitable growth and institutional excellence. Key contributions: education and empowerment. He has sponsored the education of over 100 students and supports STEM and technology-based training initiatives through Chinto Technologies Limited, nurturing the next generation of innovators and professionals. community development, empowers both my Lord, I must respectfully pay my respects. I must tell you that I'm here this evening wearing the cap of the DMGs, Imperial Secondary School east of the Niger, that this week is celebrating 100 years of its existence. I am here because of the importance I attach to this organization. If not, I'm supposed to be in Onitsha celebrating the DMGs. The Imperial,
one family,
the Imperial,
one family,
the Imperial,
living for humanity.
indeed they are living for humanity. And that, according to my brother, Ikobosi, says is the greatest civilization. As I start my address, I must thank Ikobosi for a very incisive delivery. The only thing that is common as I listen to Ikobosi is that I didn't hear Ikobosi say that His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has created the lacking link in regional development, and that is the creation of Southeast Development Commission. And so when I saw the topic of today's, the theme of today's discussion, I got very excited because the president of the Imperial Philanthropic family, my very dear brother, had met with me, and I told him, are you aware that the president has created a commission that is charged with go down to your region and develop your place? He said, is that true? Therefore, I will invite you to our AGM so that we talk to our people. And so being here today and looking at the theme of today's discussion, the emerging Southeast reinventing its past glory, I will start with thanking Mr. President. You have done a great job of gathering this galaxy of stars. These are very accomplished Igbo sons in their respective enterprise. And you brought them together for the development of Southeast and for the development of yourselves and growing our region. I will be tempted to, as I go through my speech, explain a couple of things that you need to know that we are doing. Let me start by saying that I do not know why you chose today's theme. But if the reason for choosing it is because of your passion for us to grow and develop our place, I will tell you that you have a partner in the Southeast Development Commission. I heard Ikobosi say that the biggest problem of our federation and our governance is that the governors operate in silos. I will therefore share what one of the governors told us when we were established and sworn in by the president. And I must call your attention to the fact
that the creation of Southeast Development Commission is born out of the President's conviction that the Southeast was shortchanged because after the war, it was said that there was no victor, no vanquish, and the federal government adopted 3 R's: reconciliation, reintegration, and reconstruction. These 2 are social tools. You can say we have reconciled. You can say we are integrated because we are doing business here. But you are aware that nothing about reconstruction of Southeast was done, and therefore the 10th Senate, under the leadership of His Excellency, the Senate President, with the House of Reps, enacted a bill, and the heading of the bill is very interesting. An act to create Southeast Development Commission to undertake the development of the infrastructure in the Southeast destroyed by the Civil War. That's the title of the act. And so, listening to Ikobosi and hearing his cry of fragmented development and uncoordinated development that is currently going on, I will tell you, my brother, cry no more, because a Daniel has eventually come to judgment. His Excellency Peter Ma, when we met with him in Enugu, because after we were inaugurated, we took a tour of all the 5 Southeast states. And so when we got to Enugu, His Excellency Peter Ma said, and I quote him, "If we fail to connect our economies, we will compete against ourselves, and that will be counterproductive." This profound insight captures the essence of what must be done to harmonize our infrastructure, policies, and investment efforts to create a single market for the Southeast region. Creating a single market economy makes all the sense. Take for example, there's what we call in technology right of way. Right of way means that you want to lay cable to connect fiber optics. If you come to Enugu and Enugu charges you several thousands, and you go to Anambra and they say we are not charging you anything, you partner with us. You go to Igbo, they charge you millions. After some time, you get tired. You go back because you're wasting your time and money. But we are envisaging a Southeast that will have a single right-of-way policy that will drive fiber optics activity. And so when we were created, first thing we did was to say the Southeast, they are the same people. And we will go ahead to ask them, what do you want? And so we did a poll. In our poll, it will amaze you to note that 46% of our people said they want rail. 32% said they want power and gas infrastructure. The others said they want agriculture and federal highways. Then we did a further stakeholder engagement where we called the private sector, organized private sector, and they came and said, no, you cannot do rail. If you do rail, what will power the rail? That the first thing you must do is to provide gas and power. If you are able to organize the private sector and be able to tap the gas capacities of the Southeast, it will power your rail and it will empower your industries. And so what did we do? We went back and said, okay, because we are business people, we need private-public partnership to be able to drive development in the Southeast. So we went back to Mr. President and requested from Mr. President to allow us to create the Southeast Investment Corporation. You will remember that the Greater Oil had Eastern Nigeria Development Corporation, and I want to had the Worldwide Investment Corporation and Northern Nigerian Development Corporation, Manubelo. So, Mr. President has just graciously allowed us through a presidential executive order, and we have created what is called Southeast Investment Corporation. Your company, our company, Southeast company. How will you play? The Southeast Development Commission will take a small percentage. You, our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, will take equity. Institutional development partners will take equity. And this will drive your major infrastructure development. We have created a 500 billion development pipeline, wherein we are targeting agriculture, agro-processing, rail, gas development, education, and ICT tech hub. All this is aimed at granulating pivotal development approach, so that when you get to the Southeast and you think that you have partners who can do gas, come together with your people, come back to Southeast Development Commission and say, my people from China, my people from Singapore are ready to do gas development. I agree totally with Honorable Minister, who said we must stop the complaints. We must stop the name calling. We have to fold our sleeves like our fathers in the past have done. Let's get to work. Let's get to work to build our homeland. We are the only people of all the peoples of Nigeria who leave their homeland, go to other people's place, develop it like our own, and we have built houses of 1 billion, 2 billion, 5 billion in some cases, and we live in the house 19th December to 4th of January, and we'll go back, live in the house from 4th of January until 19th of December. True or false? True or false? But as we leave the homeland, cockroaches and rats invest our houses, so that when we come back by December 17th or 14th or 15th, we start cleaning the house again. And this is capital tie down. That if we are living in our home, who says that if you have your head office in Osugu, my big brother, my brother Ken, who says if you have your headquarters in Osugu, your people will not come? We take time to connect with them and work for you, but your Osugu must be made comfortable enough. Amenities that should cause you to go back and invest in Osugu must be there. We are therefore saying that we are now ready to start this. And it is, remember, it is not federal government money that will do this. It is this private sector driven thought that will do this. We have also created what we call, we reason that sports is an essential part of economic growth and development. And therefore we have created what we call SEGRID, Southeast Grassroots Infrastructure Development. And I went to JMGs. A couple of you, some people here went to CKC. So may have gone to mine. So may have gone to all those schools, CIC, Abo, all those schools that played football in the 80s, 70s and 80s, and part of 90s. Go back to that school today. Your football field, maybe they're farming on it. And so our boys and now girls who are playing football can only be product of circumstance. We have said no to that. And so we have created what we call Southeast Grassroots Infrastructure Development. We intend to go to pick out some of these schools in turns, go to their field, make a mini sports arena where they will use it with neighboring schools to be able to train and prepare for football as a profession. We have also created what we call Southeast Venture Capital. The Southeast Venture Capital is aimed at providing and capitalizing it with 50 billion naira. By the way, the Southeast Investment Corporation is capitalized to 150 billion naira. So the Southeast Venture Capital is aimed at, as you are training the people you are giving scholarship, some of them come out and they start startups. And as they start these startups, they don't have money to fund the activity. So it is our intention that these people can come back to this venture capital and get their initial support to be able to drive their discovery. Well, you will not appreciate, of course you will appreciate because they call you. What this does for these boys. Some of them need only $3,000, $5,000, $10,000. You are aware that no Southeast company, no unicorn of today in Nigeria as a match for the Southeast. But there are so many of them that are there. So this is what this venture capital will do. With that, it means therefore that you are taught the thought of the Imperial Philanthropic family aligns so much with the thought of Southeast Development Commission. We will therefore be very happy to hear from Mr. President that you have set aside X amount to work with Southeast Development Commission as partners to be able to do whether it's agriculture. We have reasoned that agriculture, whereas we do not have land, but we have enough land for agro-processing. And so, if we're able to develop our gas infrastructure, then we'll be able to build theme parks and build agro-processing spots, then we can, working together with you, go into agro-processing in the Southeast. Almost all the industries in the Southeast have all closed. The reason is because of pivotal infrastructure that will drive these industries. And so, what we are urging you today is to cash in on the opportunity Mr. President has offered the Southeast. And I'm happy to report to you that all the governors of the Southeast have agreed that all projects are calling for Southeast Development Commission that they will work in partnership to make it a success. The role of Imperial Philanthropic family. Your organization is composed of dynamic, patriotic, and accomplished professionals and businessmen of Eastern Nigerian extraction. You have, within the short time of your existence, undertaken the challenging projects both jointly and separately. And for this, I say big congratulations to you. The Imperial Philanthropic family is indeed uniquely positioned to champion the renaissance for reinventing Southeast Nigeria. As in when we remember the words of our elders who worked so assiduously to make the Southeast a great region, people like Dr. Nadas Giwe, Salui, Odwebo Chukwu, Ekene Chukwu, and all the big traders that emerged from the Southeast. Yours is not different. You are working in the right direction. We urge you to continue remembering that unity, divided, you cannot achieve anything, but united, you will be able to achieve a lot. You are not just observers in this enterprise. Please, we urge you not to be observers. We want you to, as stakeholders, strong stakeholders from the Southeast, please come back to us. I am available, Mr. President. Anytime you call on me, I am available. The urge, particularly from the diasporans, our brothers and sisters in diaspora, they have agreed. We had a first meeting with them. They've agreed that they will continue because of this amount of money that you saw, 19 billion that is moving to Southeast, but through uncoordinated needs, so many times failed projects. But now we are aiming to do a diaspora bond, and this diaspora bond is aimed at aggregating the funds, the enormous funds and capacity of the people of the Southeast that are in diaspora. We have also opened up a database of the Southeasterners that are all over the world. Why I have able to give you what we are doing is for you to understand that the gaps which the speech delivered by the Honorable Minister noted, and that is that the Southeast economic activity is not coordinated, that the coordination is ongoing, that we are doing a lot of work. We are meeting with institutional development partners. We were a month ago in Algiers to meet with the Afro-Exim, where, and I must tell you this, our brother, the president of Afro-Exim that just left, has created an inter-African trade. The indices for this is there. It is to touch the right chord so that we'll galvanize our potentials and our diaspora capacity. We have professionals that are scattered all over the world. In every aspect of national life where we took off, we now have about 3,500 Southeasterners who have identified that they will work with us from medicine to engineering, to aerospace, to everything. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, my Secretary, for that wonderful presentation. I want to assure you that the synergy will be built between the Imperial Philanthropic family and the Southeast Development Commission. In line with the Lemachine that has been introduced by Professor I want to call on them who have any member of the Imperial family, Ariel Lacha, Barrister Dr. Silas Dr. Gideon, Yalacha Yile. Dr. Gideon, Yalacha Yile. I have every doubt in you that you got the lecture properly and you do justice to it. You can. That's how you do. That's how you do.
Hey man, this is going to tell you this. I can be careful. Excellency, my president, thank you for inviting me. The Imperial, one family. The Imperial,
living for humanity.
Your Excellency, members of our ESCO, our dear revered nation.
The information on the area of the Southeast Development Commission can a global game and give up but more one put the God together with my foundation, Providing Humanity Foundation. I had given a grant to UNIZIC, Namdazikwa University, some years ago, and they made a scientific research and that scientific research produced an academic book, apparently published and available for use. So Kunu Alega very far to go to understand how was Iba Boy successful, how did they start? We have the answers already, and we also have the solution. So in this answer, we were able to understand that even today, boy is even a stigma. It's a stigma. I never got to know it. For a young man, or is a saggy trouser, walk or for a girl like this, or saggy one and was saying, so for that reason, in the course of our research, I personally recommend that they remember that project. I work with Pado Ogala. Is in that project. Because when I joined Portland, now they are so I remember the number of them no Pado. So I'm calling on the Imperial family and Southeast Development to adopt this name. I'm ready to come and give you a talk on it, present my book, and we have solutions. And when team of professionals in our university, we have already developed a work plan to revive this. Then I will name it in English. I'm an apprentice before I know English name. I am even a scientific research. You can interrogate one word there, and give it a new direction. Apprenticeship. Okay, that's the name. Apprentice. Then I conjured all this new vocabulary. They were not there. So if you name apprentice, you call an entrepreneur. You go where on so give you a little bit of it, but no, it's about 400 pages, which was properly researched and documented. I would also like to partner with you if you want us to go in that direction. Otherwise, Southeast Development Commission, now billion now. On the way, we have a account. Open no, but I go to use any of them. Open even one I don't even in a support to not to make it in Imperial, more family.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. The Imperial
for disrupt the program or protocol. But when the woman to learn a man and make it a fool, open a room to that brought to talk. But I just want to draw attention to one thing. The Kobosi and the other brother had made a wonderful presentation, which is a good justice to the topic. Normally, although in a typical Igbo setting, Ike like me is a high chief. Onye nukuche usiokwa na alachi but in a typical English setting, in a high-powered meeting of this nature, this paper he had presented must not have gone without a panel that will break it down and comment on it one by one to break the takeaways. It would be so good to just take the paper and file. There may be no time for it now, but I felt I should make this known. So that maybe it's a great idea, no matter what age, and all that, but also to gain. Because recently, I've been talking that one of the biggest things that can also impact somebody, even if in the world of corporate social responsibility, the growth of money or material, even knowledge. So this is a great idea. But maybe next year, you may just want to choose one key note speaker and then spend the rest of the time to deliberate on it. You have 3 of them today, which is great. We are not changing it. But I really think that for me, as an academician, for what my brother has presented, we might just allow 1 or 2 of this. If you will allow it, I think make it as brief as possible before the next speaker. So in that way, these things might digest better. But for next year, there'll be 1 keynote speaker, or maximum 2 if you have time. And I know you have like tomorrow, might be today, 1 today, 1 tomorrow, and all that. But this thing, he had compressed them in a very short way. But if any answer,
yes, we go. Round of applause for me.
If you say yes, I might just make 1 or 2 comments finally.
Please be on, sir.
So thank you very much. Ike, once more, congratulations. So I'm doing 2 things. Say hi, chief. Then make a panel contribution as an intellectual. They want more to So, if you can make a Southeast, we all gather there, Makodema Southeast. Most of the topics you have mentioned there may be new to some of us. It may be things that we have been bothering a number of us. I can identify and relate with some of them. What he called excuses, I have a lecture series. Mwana say, no mere Igbo man Igbo melonwe family on Igbo. That lecture series, I repeat, Olu mere Igbo man Igbo melonwe family. So that was then even mad in their mind, like he kept all of excuses. It's like that moment he actually said after man, but the rest of them are getting out of it. The problem I went today, more if I know more mine. What if I get mine in Nigeria, that I don't know line? What if I get mine in Nigeria, that I don't know line that led to the war? The war has been the worst thing that happened to the people. Man, no nature when I find you survive with the war. Man, I wouldn't even know. Man, I have a different group of people who are equal by their intentional purpose. Call them people with a purpose. They pick the worst situation we have ever been and turn it into good. Then that brings us to the issue of leadership. You can have told people about Japan. Okay, look at Dubai. For Christ's sake, what is in Dubai? Last 3 weeks I was in Dubai, remember? I went for a program. I checked into the hotel. For 1 week, I made sure I did not leave the hotel. Like all my programs are there, like not here. Until 1 week after that, the guy can get sick go down then I carry down forward. But they have managed to create certain narratives about their country, about their Dubai. Even there, WhatsApp is not working. The people are already not happy to say WhatsApp is not really working. Can we do with WhatsApp without WhatsApp in Nigeria? We accepted their situation because they manage it very well. So now, if they have purpose, that purpose will not, nothing happens by chance. Most of this is CKS and I get made today must be intentional. Let me tell us. Now I go there Anambra and I also after my business. We are not born traders. It was because name was on Nature Main Market. Nature Main Market was an intentional program by M.I. and this thing. Oh, that man not together the one out. It brings what? Ants. Typical example, when we got into the airline industry 5 years ago, I made interview. I go for interview for many positions in the industry. Over 100 people behind 90 among the body. Maybe 10. It's really simple. Where more Anambra Airport. And more airports in Asaba. And more so airport they were getting far away, maybe gonna walk and we're supposed to solicit and so on and so forth. And we put on the bag in Nona, the industry, and every airport in the again in Telayanga. Fast forward 5 years down the line. What I don't normally do, I happened to sit in an executive interview last 2 weeks. You cannot believe that 90% of those people who came for that interview, finally never did. Majority of them in their number. We do not call them. But the question is why? Because apart from Andy Befa, I'm the business, right? If he doesn't go to airpeace, he goes to United Nigeria. That's what get you when the man didn't make an investment in training. Because open in training, you say no whatever for a gallon. Open up no whatever gallon. So nothing happens by chance. I'm getting to a place. I'll give you the story of Ikebu, the oil and the revenue we are getting and the grid and all that. Great. I am not somebody who believes that money solves the problem. We have not had people who know how to create wealth. I do not believe, I have a lecture series in there, but I do not believe that our problem in Nigeria is corruption. No. The problem is because leaders do not know how to create wealth. Only Nigerian president knows who called also $10 billion. You know that, right? Look at the Gulf. $10 billion as a birthday present. Okay, man. What's the difference? The difference that I normally give is like, I wanted the border Emirates, my brother Nigeria. When I took cars, who the every now with that man. More about so Nigerian leader, they won't have you. So wow, if you're a beaver, well maybe I'm a Namia, Chief Weather Namia, Manchester, more wine or water veterinary doctor. And I realize on the Dubai, on the Emirates. They say the mayor refugee. Okay, you will name more men. We make that more men. We feel like when you are born here, go put on cave, go make go buy, go muta, so go and you now multiply now multiply men. But because I'm one day human, not so many grandchildren. I don't know if you are about Japan one day we are from the city well maybe I can live. It comes about that I can really have a walk with you. But it's not only the back, it's making it malachi everywhere. So now each other is going there. Won't you have more to take? Each other won't you have more? So our problem with our leaders is our ability to create wealth. Just like any other person. I'm not going on our own now. But yeah, I didn't have one there were enough law. Let them live the law the way it is and implement it. And now my uncle Chinua, there was a problem of Nigeria with leadership. It's not getting the opposite. Today, no why not? Problem I will follow our ship. My kind of can be. So why I say that for you to reduce problem with the election malpractices, the part of the process. Open and leaders who will stand up. Okay, look at now. Typical example. And when clemency right, that was announced by the president.